What up? How does everybody be? I hope everything is okay. I pray it is. And if not, then I pray that it gets better. Having said that, today's a review. You see, when we left off speaking on Jotham in particular. And Jotham is giving Moses some advice as how to govern the people. And before we get all the way carried away into all these things, we have to go all the way back to the last time I think I did a review, which was actually coming into the book of the Exodus, you know. And I've been better than every 10 or 15 chapters of trying to do a small review. So before we go any further, we're doing one right now. And let's just review the entire part of the Exodus that's gone forth. So first and foremost, we're given this lineage of this random man who comes out to be Moses' father. His name escapes me right now. I'm going to try to look for him. I'm pretty sure I know what page he's going to come up on. But it starts with an A, and that he was a certain man of the tribe of Levi, right? And it comes out to us that Aaron is the firstborn, or at least he's born before Moses. And the way that it's headed, when it gives the lineage of Moses to Moses, when it's being explained to him, because maybe Moses didn't know that Aaron was his older brother. But I would assume that if he grew up with his mother for 12 years, he has to know that this guy's his older brother. Come on. Thank you. Right? So it's just giving the headway to us as the reader understanding. Okay? Having said that, there's an instance that happens before all this. Ambram. That's the man's name. Ambram. Ambram. Check this out. It's a dire shame that the people are two-faced. It really is. Because in one instance, we're going to, we obviously read about a people that are persecuted by another people whom, whether you want to say it's their direct lineage for some of them or direct relatives, made the Egyptians rich. I mean, so rich that, okay, imagine this COVID-19 thing, right? So, God forbid the world goes back to business eventually one day, and this is just water under the bridge. The people that are going to come out from that are those that are who actually are holding on to the resources that people need the most, i.e. the food, i.e. the shelter, i.e. the medicine, and to a certain degrees, clothes and toiletries, cosmetics. But we call provender these things. However, the people are so two-faced that even though they were persecuted in Egypt, it would be no different right now that if Demetrius Antoine Jones went to whatever government that he had to go to, right, and he pleads with them on several different occasions. Mind the fact that Brother Andre said that Aaron and Moses were just busting up into the palace, which they were on some of these occasions. I'm trying to unless they were being called. Whenever they just showed up to Pharaoh, they just showed up. Like, I'm not sending this dude no messenger. I'm just showing up, riding, and who knows how many people he's got riding with him. Keep that in mind. See, these reviews we do are so different because I need you to get into the very human aspects that I know people will often overlook in the scripture. Very human aspect. Something that I thought was a shame on Moses. But it saved his life, being that he was the way he was. The fact that he didn't circumcise his sons, right? The fact that he put this off. Let's just go ahead and get to it and read, because it actually is one of the most important parts of the entire reading. of the entire reading. Okay, we're in chapter 4. We're going to start at verse 20. And Moses took his wife and his children and mounted them on the beast and returned to Egypt. And Moses took the rod which he had from God in his hand. And the Lord said to Moses, verse 21, when thou goest and return to Egypt, see all the miracles I have charged thee, that I have charged thee with. Thou shalt work before Pharaoh. So listen to this right here. He's like, bro, just pay attention to everything that I'm going to do through you to this man. And acknowledge that it's me. It's not you. You're not doing nothing. It's me. Okay. And the Lord said to Moses, when thou goest and return to Egypt, see all the miracles I have charged thee with. Thou shalt work before Pharaoh, and I will harden his heart, and he shall certainly not send away the people. And thou shalt say to Pharaoh, these things, saith the Lord, Israel is my firstborn. Okay. And I said to thee, send away my people, that they may serve me. Now if thou wilt not send them away to thee, I will slay thy firstborn. Now stop right there. That's the very first message he gives to Pharaoh. Understand, when it's all said and done, everything came full circle. The way that God said it would, or who I contend is the Messiah, and only in certain instances is it clearly discernible that it's the Most High. Having said all that to explain those things, only thing that keeps Moses alive is because, remember, he has all these excuses. Well, I don't know how to talk. I'm just not good with crowds. Yeah, I've just never been that kind of dude, right? However, check this out. Verse 23. Verse 24. And it came to pass that the angel of the Lord met him by the way in the inn, and sought to slay him. Stop right there. I'm assuming whoever this angel is, they showed up with like sword in hand, bow and arrow in hand, or crossbow, whatever. He had weapons, okay? And the demeanor was clearly, I'm about to do something to you. Check this out. This is the only thing that kept Moses alive. And understand that had he not disobeyed the directive, it's amazing. It's amazing that he probably would have gotten killed going forward. Now, people can argue and contend that this was meant for him to circumcise, or for this was the instance for them to be circumcised, but I don't know about that. And I said to thee, verse 25, and Sephora, having taken a stone, cut off the foreskin of her son, and fell at his feet, and said, the circumcision of my son is staunched. And he departed, because she said, the blood of the circumcision of my son is staunched. Now stop right there. Now, she only circumcises one son in this moment. Unless the other son is circumcised. Like, understand, that means that this dude got all the way into the wilderness, and until they actually get to circumcising dudes. It's right. That's just I'm just trying to throw it out there. Okay? And Moses isn't no spring chicken when he's doing all this. He's 80 years old. Okay, so he's a grown, older man, mature man. All right? So he's lived life. He understands things. This is why certain people are called. And a lot of the time people think that, that is nothing. But Abraham was 75 when he was called. Right on? Because he had lived life to experience and done things. Right. So it's and people are like, well, what about Joseph? Well, Joseph he's an intermediary character who fulfills a prophecy, a self-fulfilling prophecy. Right on? Because clearly, if he said it and it came to pass the way that He pretty much said it that he's a prophet. Right on? He's more than just a dreamer. Clearly, he's a prophet. So, the prophecy, the ability to prophesy that has no bloodline, there has no distinct one bloodline. If I wanted to choose one, I would say it'd be the bloodline of Seth overall, and that would be a safe. That would be safe to say. Yeah, that would be safe. You know, they would say, why Seth and not Adam? Because upon the sons of Seth, men call on the name of the Most High, not through the sons of Cain, who is the son of Adam. Having said all these things, we're going to just skip a little bit forth, right? Because I don't want to get too boggled down in this as far as getting carried away on things that don't matter. Because I want to get back to the part that we were just on. Because that is the linchpin. That, the whole instance of when they leave Egypt and how they act and the advice that Jethro gives Moses is the linchpin as to why the people fail as a people in the first place. So let me go ahead and explain something to y'all. Imagine this. Imagine if the people never complained to Moses about the food or anything, and the Most High God feeds them. And they never complain about the drink, and the Most High God gives them drink. And they wander around and they never murmur against Moses, right? There's no need for Jethro to give him unheeded advice. It doesn't even make sense. But because the people were they were pretty much clamoring, okay? And it became so tense that Moses called the person that he had stayed with the longest or trusted the most at this point, which was his father-in-law. Right. And his father-in-law gave him fatal information. What fatal information? Let's just read it. Chapter 19 of the Exodus. Listen to this right here, y'all. When I say this is fatal, I mean fatality. It's over because there's no coming back from it. Or was it 18? Yeah, it's 18 going into 19. Excuse me. Here we are. Verse 15. Verse 13. I want you to hear this right here. And understand, Moses had no thing better to do other than when he was called to go to the mountain. Just listen. Verse 13 of chapter 18. And it came to pass after the morning that Moses sat to judge the people. And all the people stood by Moses from morning till evening. And Jethro, having seen all that Moses did, and Jethro having seen all that Moses did to the people, says, What is thou doest to the people? Wherefore sittest thou alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning till evening? And Moses says to his father-in-law, Because the people come to seek judgment from God. For whenever there is a dispute among them, and they come to me, I give judgment upon each. And I teach them the ordinance of God and his law. Stop right there. That is the linchpin. Okay? What he just said is that I'm teaching them the ordinances and the law. Jethro either doesn't understand or intentionally threw a monkey wrench in the plan. Because listen to what I'm saying. What Jethro tells Moses to do would have manifested all by itself. Listen to my idea as I read it to you now. Okay? And Moses, verse 17. And the father-in-law of Moses said to him, Thou doest not this thing rightly. So you're not doing it right. Thou wilt wear away the intolerable weariness, will away with intolerable weariness, so you'll just become intolerable to all these people. You'll become impatient. Both those and all the people which is with thee. And he's saying, so you and everybody else with you are gonna, everybody's gonna pretty much get impatient with this process. Listen to this. We're gonna keep reading. Thou will hear. Excuse me. Whoa. This thing is hard. Thou will not be able to endure it thyself alone. Now then hearken to me, and I will advise thee, and God shall be with thee. This is it's suspect that he's pretty much saying that whoever Moses believes in is going to be with him because you're listening to me now. Follow that. Follow that whole line of thought. Up until thus, Moses has not gotten advice from anybody like this. Only from the Most High, from his Messiah. Understand this. The only time people ever complained or said anything to Moses were the elders, and before, when they were in Egypt, and the people were like, bro, why didn't you just leave us be? Because now you done made it harder for us. You done made it worse for us. Going forward, hold on, because they have no faith. How could a man who's never known the Most High God tell Moses that you should break off and not do it, what you're doing, which is teaching them the laws and the ordinances as they are being taught to Moses himself? And allow the people who are within the vicinity to hear it. So that way, if they have a like issue or a likened to issue, they can hear it and understand it, or it can be relayed to them going forth. Be thou to the people in things pertaining to God, and thou shalt bring their matters to God. So he's pretty much saying that only the things that pretty much serious matters. What? They don't know the law. Every matter is a serious one until we all come to the understanding that this is how they're going to treat each and every one of these. Because every instance is not the same. And how can you depend on people who don't know the law to teach the law or to enforce it? Going forward. Verse 20, and thou shalt testify to them ordinances of God and his law, and thou shalt shew them the ways in which they shall walk, and the works which they shall do. And do thou look out for thyself out of all the people, able men, fearing God, righteous men, hating pride, and thou shalt set them over the people. Listen to this. Did he say anybody knowing the laws or ordinances? No. Death blow right there. Freaking death blow. And you shall set them over the people, captains of thousands, and captains of hundreds, and captains of fifties, and captains of tens. And they shall judge the people at all times. And the too burdensome matter they shall bring to thee. Anything that's a big one. But they shall judge the smaller cases. So shall they relieve thee and help thee. If thou wilt do this thing, God shall strengthen thee, and thou shalt be able to attend, and all this people shall come with peace into their own place. And Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did whatsoever he said to him. And Moses chose out able men out of all of Israel, and he made them captains of thousands, and captains of hundreds, and captains of fifties, and captains of tens over the people. And they judged the people at all times. Every too burdensome matter they brought to Moses, but every light matter they judged themselves. And Moses dismissed his father-in-law, and he returned to his own land. Now I just have to say this right here to you, that if the Most High wanted to diss Moses, he could have. If the Messiah wanted to diss Moses, he could have. When Moses was writing this down, they didn't rub Moses' face in the pie that he had created. Let me just tell you this before we go ahead and head out. If I set people over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and then tens, let's say the people of the tens have the most influence, right? And let's just say that the people who are captains over them are easily influenced by the people who are the captains of the thousands, or somebody who's in the group of the thousands of people that they're over. Understand that this is so backwards. Power and name is right. I wish I could read that brother's comment, because he said, did this pretty much set up them wanting a king? Yes. Yes. Yes, brother. It did. It set up. But it set up the downfall for the people before the matter. And the fact that they spoke and murmured against Moses and did all those things, I can't help but to think that there's a reason as to why this was allowed to happen. It does not make sense. Think about what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. If you have to, listen to this video one more time. Pick up your scripture and read it. And don't be afraid to read it. I'm trying to break it down to you now. If someone was to try to free us now, would you murmur against them if they freed you? With that said, I salute you. Spiritual Gumbo out.